Hi. So last night in class, right, we were talking about 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 9, I believe. And we were talking about Paul. And we were talking about Paul and where he talks about um, the answer God gave him when he actually pleaded and begged with God to get that messenger of Satan out of the way. Basically, the thorn in the flesh. Get that thorn in the flesh out of his way. But God basically told him no. He told him no. And he told him no because he told him his grace was sufficient for him. But not only that, he answered and said, for my power. So God's power is made perfect in his weaknesses, in his weakness, right? So after that, Paul said, okay, well, God, therefore I'm going to boast. He said, therefore I'm going to boast in my weaknesses. Why? So the power of Christ can rest upon him. I think about these things. When we think about this, we don't like brokenness. We don't like any form of weakness. And why? Because it makes us feel helpless. It makes us feel like we're sometimes worthless. It makes us question who we are. It makes us have all different types of things going on when we get in a place of weakness. Now, I don't believe God brings sickness or anything upon us. But what I do believe is that he utilizes those thorn in the flesh, those circumstances, those faith-building things, circumstances, hardships, insults, because if you continue reading all the way down to verse 10, if you continue reading that to verse 10, he even says, so for in his insults, hardships, persecution, calamities, all these things, he was going to boast in these things so Christ can be known. And I think about it, if you think about it, we don't like the brokenness. Like I said, we don't like weakness. We don't like feeling weak. It makes us question who we are. It makes us question all these different types of things, really depending on how intense the battle is. But regardless of not, we don't like feeling weak, because weakness is a form of just, it's brokenness. And we don't like brokenness. But what I want us to do and what I want us to think about, if you flip it a little bit and flip your perspective, just look at it a different way, right? If we are in our weaknesses, not my power, not your power, not your family power, not your husband, not your children power, but God said for his power is made perfect in our weaknesses. The only power that is perfected, the only power that is perfect is the power of Christ, the power of God, the power of his spirit, right? In our weaknesses. So when you think about weaknesses or brokenness, it's not being done in our own abilities. So what I want us to do is look at our weaknesses, look at them, not dwell in them, not be like, oh, look at the weaknesses, whatever circumstances, just put those in there, right? Put those in those, enter that into that scripture. Enter your name where Paul's name is, right? No, we may not have the same circumstances that Paul was dealing with, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, whatever it is, put that in there and look at it and understand that God's power, his power is being perfected in this situation. So that means that your faith is being increased. Your faith is being proven genuine. Your patience is being perfected when you face these various things, right? So I think I want us to look at things a little bit differently when we face certain things, when we have certain things going on about. Because no, we're not going to face them perfectly, but we have to understand that we're being made perfect. And Christ's power is being made perfect. It's being shown perfect in our weaknesses. because we're not relying on our own wisdom. We're not relying on our own understanding. We're not relying on our skills and abilities. What we're doing is we're really partnering with him and releasing and saying, okay, let your power be made perfect in my weakness. So now I'm just going to take a different perspective. I think it's awesome when we can take a different perspective and we see scripture and God reveals and shares his, by his spirit, his revelation for our lives. And we can begin to apply that to our daily lives. So I want you guys to take a look at it. Read that chapter. Read those verses 1 through 10, 2 Corinthians chapter 12, 1 through 10. Take a look at it and be blessed by it. Let God bless you by it. And just look at things different. Okay, you guys have